in my veins. Blue and one, I red, white, and blue in my brain. I'm bulldog born. Bulldog, that's my breed. I was born to follow where the bulldogs lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, they say you should never meet your heroes, but this man is the ultimate exception. He's loved by everyone he meets, and he's the people's champion, Dougie Hawkins.
Matty, great to see your smiling dial as we hit Christmas in 2025. Great to see you, Matty, and looking forward to next season, what the Bulldogs can bring us.
Please, absolutely, Doug. Well, let's hope they bring us some silverware, because guess who today's guest is?
Who is it?
It's Premiership hero, Dougie Reynolds from 54.
54, Dougie Reynolds. Gee, Matty. I met Dougie Reynolds, Matty, a lovely bloke. He's a Western Suburbs boy, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He grew up in Yarraville and played for Spotswood.
Spotty, he played for Spotswood. Gee, my rivalry when I was at Braybrook against Spotty, but no, I knew he was a Westie, Matty, and I wasn't quite sure. So Spotty grew up in Yarraville. And Matty, he was an on-baller. Did he mainly play on-ball?
Yeah, he was a quick, super quick, lightning fast man. His nickname was the Racehorse, and he played a little bit of rover and on-ball time, but ultimately he moved out onto the wing. In fact, it was your wing, Doug, that he played on.
Fair income. Yes. Gee, that's terrific, Matty, and obviously, as you touched on at the start of our little chat, he's a premiership player, Matty, for the Bulldogs in 54, and he played okay, Matty, didn't he? Did he play all right in that grand final?
Yeah, he was named in the top 5 players pretty much in every newspaper. He had apparently 25 kicks, so he was right up there, and he snagged one of the most incredible goals. He did the old 1-2 through the middle. Zigzag dodged, had 2 bounces and smashed a goal through on his left foot. He only kicked 19 in his entire career, and one of them was in the premiership win.
No, fantastic, Matty, and he didn't play a long time, Matty, did he? He probably had 6, 7. He wouldn't have even played 100 games, Matty, would he, or not?
Yeah, you're spot on. He played 80 games at the Dogs, and then he played 15 at Richmond. But Doug, you won't believe it. At age 24, he left the Doggies. 24.
But Matty, you've obviously, why would Dougie Reynolds leave the Bulldogs at 24 years of age? And it wasn't the club got rid of him, Matty?
Yeah, look, it was a time that there was a lot of change that was going on at the club. Obviously, he had Charlie Sutton. The great Charlie Sutton was captain coach in the 54 side. But after that, there was a fair bit of movement in the ranks, and EJ, was obviously thrust into the captaincy role, and I guess there was a lot of change that was happening. That most of the premiership players were gone 2 or 3 or 4 years after the 54 premiership, and Doug was one of them.
Yeah, amazing, Matty. And I remember Donnie Ross, the great Donnie Ross. He'd left the Bulldogs at a young age. I reckon after he'd won the best and first in 56, the year that Peter Box won the Brownlow, he went back to Albury at a young age, man. They seemed to depart, didn't they, after that success in 54, the grand final?
Absolutely. It's a strange thing. They brought the silverware and they departed. I guess, in 1955, they thought the ball, it was just going to roll on. But I've read a few things from Charlie Sutton, who said maybe, just maybe, they were a bit complacent. They took their foot off the pedal a teeny tiny bit, and the game goes past you quickly.
So Matty, at the age of 24, he goes to Richmond. So the club got rid of him, or did he make the move, Matty?
Yeah, he's a bolted on Bulldog man. He grew up in the West. He was, he loved the club.
That's it. Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like it was his choice, Doug. We're going to ask him, but I'm sure he just wanted, like yourself, do whatever it takes to stay.
Well, mate, he's a premiership player. We only have two sides that won 2 grand finals, and he was a big part of that back in 54. And again, as we touched on, Matty, a Westie, played at Spotty, Yarraville boy, Dougie Reynolds. He's got to be, Matty, I don't know his age, but he's got to be in his 90s. Has to be.
He's spot on.
What is he, Matty? What is he?
He's 92 as we speak.
And going all right, Matty.
He's going sharp. He lives a drop kick away from the Whitten Oval. You can't keep him away.
Fair income.
Dougie, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Charlie Sutton actually named him in his greatest team from 1942 to 1982. So all those players, right in those early years at the club, he's listed him in his best team ever.
Is that right, Matty? I mean, that's what a great accolade that is. I mean, the bloke's played 80 games, Matty. I mean, if you take away the premiership, he's played 80 games, and to have the great Charlie Sutton include you into his best team from that period, 82, mate, sensational, isn't it? And he had him on the wing, didn't he?
Yeah,
that's right. It might have been me and Dougie. It might have been on the other, me and Dougie on the. Was it Magic with Clean? Oh, yeah, Magic in that team too, Matty.
Yeah, Magic off half back, and the
half back. He was too.
The two Dougs on the wing. It's a pretty formidable side, Dougie.
Who do you have in the centre, Matty? Did he have?
I think it was Donnie Ross at the time, because it was he wrote this in the early 80s. So the likes of Scotty West hadn't come through. So Don Ross was I think his pick at that point.
Okay.
Yep.
No, it's a feather in his cap, Dougie Reynolds, mate. No doubt about that. And 80-game player in Charlie's best. Doesn't get any better than that.
Indeed, absolutely.
Well, what a great bulldog, legend of our footy club. As I said, 2 sides have won grand finals, and Dougie Reynolds a very, very important part of that one in 54, mate, wasn't he?
Oh, he certainly was. When I've been doing some research about him, and I reached out to a couple of his former teammates. Obviously, you mentioned Donnie Ross, who's still with us. Jim Gallagher, off the half-back line, who was named in the team of the century. I spoke to him the other day on the phone, and I said, tell us a little bit about Doug Reynolds. And he said, do you know what? Doug Reynolds is the greatest winger the club's ever produced.
Sorry, Matty, you're breaking up. You tell, who said that, Matty? Who said it?
That's Jim Gallagher, 1954.
Jimmy, you tell Jimmy that I need to have a chat to Jimmy. I'm not happy about it. He might have been the greatest winger to play on the E.J. Whitten grandstand side, not on my wing. So I'm not happy about that, Matty. You can see I'm a bit snaky on that.
Well, I texted him back, Doug, and I said, he's not even the greatest Doug. Dougie Hawkins isn't even the best Doug of all time. I said, he won't be best pleased. And Jim, as a gentleman, said, look, Doug Reynolds was the best in my time, tell Doug.
Well, he's a Doug anyway, so the 2 Dougs were all right. That's the main thing, Matty. The 2 Dougies were handy enough.
They were handy enough, indeed. Dougie, what you might also be amazed to hear, that he married Shirley Fordham. Now, Shirley Fordham was the daughter of the vice president of the club at the time during our 54 premiership. So he had blood on both sides of the family.
Well, he had support, didn't he? Yeah. Gee whiz, Fordham. Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, what a fantastic man, Matty. And again, at the age of 92, stay local, live local all his life. He's a Western Suburbs boy. And you know what he is? He's a premiership player for the mighty Western Bulldogs in 54.
Indeed. You can't take that away from him. He's got the gold premiership cup on the locker. So, what an amazing
Beautiful
thing. And you know what, Dougie? I can hear him knocking.
I know, Dougie. There's only one Dougie, and that's me, Dougie. Right here, Dougie Reynolds.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about Bulldog royalty, it does not get any better than a premiership hero from the 1954 team. Welcome to Inside the Kennel, Dougie Reynolds! Woo-hoo!
Thank you very kindly.
Fantastic. Can I start by asking you, how would you describe yourself as a player?
Well, I played in a very, very good side. A lot of very good players, and I would just consider myself average compared to these players. They were all wonderful players, but we were team players, and we all helped one another as best we could. But no, I would say I would consider myself just to be a team player.
Beautiful. A lot of players tell me that you were super fast. In fact, you were described as the racehorse. That was your nickname.
It was my nickname too, yes. I didn't think I was super fast. I was pretty quick over short distance. pretty quick over short distance, yeah. We used to have foot races here at the football club from time to time, and I could lead for 75 metres and then they'd run over the top of me.
Okay.
But no, I was a quick runner over short distance, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, tell me, when did your love affair with football begin? I understand you're a local. You're from the western suburbs, from Yarraville.
Certainly was.
Yeah, and you barracked for the Bulldogs as a child?
Yes, certainly did.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Just after the war, growing up, there wasn't much money about in the township, and we used to just kick the football in the street like most kids did in those days.
So, Doug, when you were a kid, could you afford a football? How did you kick? How did you practice?
No, we couldn't afford any football. We used to get the Herald Sun or the Sun newspaper and roll it up and put a plastic band around it, make a football. You know, about 6 inches long and about 2 inches in diameter. And we used to kick that up and down the street. The old Herald Sun football.
Herald Sun footy, that's the training for a VFL footballer in the 1940s, kicking paper around.
Exactly right.
Incredible. And you were zoned because you lived on one side of Francis Street, so you could have been on the wrong side and not been selected by the Bulldogs, is that right?
Well, yes, but when I was playing football before my wedding and everything, I lived in Simpson Street in Yarraville. When I got married, we lived in Francis Street, but they did change the boundary line and made that Stony Creek the boundary line between Footscray and South Melbourne.
So if you weren't snaffled, you might have been picked up by South Melbourne.
Yeah, could have easily been done.
Incredible. Well, thank goodness you're a Bulldog.
Yeah.
This wouldn't have happened.
Thank heavens for that.
Tell me about your junior footy days, Dougie. Where did you start?
Started to play junior football at Spotswood. One thing led to another, and sort of got an invite up here, and that was it.
Amazing. I want to investigate that. But as a child, did you come down here and watch the Bulldogs as a kid? And who were your heroes growing up?
Oh, the captain, Arthur Oliver, I suppose. Yeah, but no, we didn't have much going for us in those days, but we look forward to getting it up to the footy. Something to do with a Saturday afternoon. Yeah.
Of course. So you talked about Spotswood. You started there in your junior career.
Yes.
Bill Couch was your coach.
Bill Couch, yes.
Yeah, and was that in the under-16s?
Yes, I first went there and it was under-16s. And then we went up to what was called in those days C grade and under-18s and stayed there, and I went from Spotswood under-18s up here to Footscray.
Right. So is it true that you had to sign a Form 4? That would have been Roy Russell.
Roy Russell, Secretary of Footscray at the time, yes.
So tell me, how did you come to the attention of Roy Russell and the footy club?
Junior football in those days was fairly strong, and I guess I was playing reasonably well and getting a bit of attention in the local papers, and somebody would probably mentioned, you better see if you can get him up, he'd play it all right. And that was it. Roy came down one night and with a Form 4, signed up to Footscray, and come and train on the next Tuesday night. I went up to Footscray, trained, and I think the next Saturday I had a game of the seconds.
Wow. Can you remember how you went?
Yeah, reasonably well, because I played the next. This wakes up memories speaking to. I think I can recall that particular year I played on the MCG in a semi-final with the seconds.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
So was that before the main game?
Yeah.
So that year would have been 1952, and Don Ross, Roger Duffy, Brian Gilmore, they were all starting at the same time as you.
Exactly, all started in the same year, yes.
Yeah. So how was it coming into the club that you barracked for as a child, and being surrounded by some of these champions?
It was with no problems. It was just a case of go to football training. What we always did. Just get out there and kick the footy and do what you're told. That's what we did.
Incredible. Well, we're currently sitting in the museum here at Whitten Oval. Back in your time, this is exactly where the change rooms would have been.
Well, I was surprised. Not surprised. Just I'm overwhelmed with the whole setup of the place. It's magnificent.
So can you describe what the rooms were like back in your day?
Oh, just a big open shed. Just change rooms. Coming from the outside through the gate, up a little passage into the dressing room, lockers. I can see it. I can't explain it.
Yeah, sure.
I can see it all.
Well, I can imagine you turning up in 1952, and I understand that in round 1 of 1952, you turned up to the game, and Charlie Sutton summons you for a little chat, and then suddenly everything changed. You weren't expecting to play that day,
No.
but you had an incredible conversation.
Exactly right. Yes, that particular day I was named as a emergency. And emergency in those days, if you played to the seconds and named an emergency to the seniors, you had to treat up for the seniors game, and when everything was cleared, you were driven back to the seconds game. And I wasn't selected on the Thursday night or anything like that, so it was nothing to panic about. Thursday night the side was announced, Sutton was in, I wasn't, and it was just a case of turn up at Saturday, a normal day, and get off to the seconds, but that didn't happen. But this particular day, as you said, I was talking to Charlie, one thing and another, and he said, well, you're playing today, son. He said, I'm pulling out the side, I'm injured. Charlie was injured, so that was my first game. We played with the seniors. Yeah.
Wow.
My first game, yeah.
Wow, so the captain coach pulls out and you are debuting. Yeah. When he told you that, what were the emotions?
Hell. Didn't realise, but it was pretty good, fine bunch of fellas. The whole team were wonderful bunch of fellas. All mates welcome and all pat on the back, good on you mate, good on you mate, good on you mate, And it was good, really good.
Is it true, as you're running onto the ground, a few people who were there who knew you said, oh my God, Doug's playing, yes. And the word got whispered all around the ground?
Yes, that's true. And as we ran down the race, and not strangely enough, but I remember it was a girl that said, Doug's playing. Her name was Dorothy Langham, and she eventually married Roger Duffy, and she was a neighbour of mine in Yarraville. And Dorothy, you'll remember, as we ran down the ground, she was alongside the race. Oh, goodness me, Doug's playing.
Wow, what an incredible experience. So you're playing on the home ground, a ground that you would come and watch your heroes as a kid. Right. Can you remember anything about the day, your first game?
Just overawed. And I think I'm not sure, but bringing back memories now, I think I may have played it again the next week. I think I played a couple in a row.
You did. Your second game, you played here again, and you had your first win, and you kicked your first goal in your second game.
Well done.
Yeah, yep. Amazing. So there it is, 1952. You played a number of games, you became a regular player. But in 1953, I'm told that you were played out of position. You spoke about you being like a racehorse, okay? Someone described you as like far lap. But they put you in the middle where it was congested on heavy grounds, which was a bit difficult for you to play. You weren't playing on the wing, which was your natural position. Yeah, what was happening there?
Well, actually, I was playing as a rower. Yeah, and wasn't too good. I got caught behind the play. Had to run all day trying to catch up to things. And eventually, somebody decided they'd try me on the wing. I was in and out the side, and then in the field. So they decided to try me on the wing, and I sort of clicked on the wing. It suited me, running up and down the ground. I only had one bloke to beat in them days on the wing.
Right. And is it true that you used to play on the outer wing, on the Dougie Hawkins side?
That's exactly right, yeah.
Yeah. What was that like, out in the front of all the Bulldog
Terrific.
faithful?
Playing on the outer ring. That's where most of the supporters gathered, on the outer wing.
So, Dougie, I want to ask you about 1953. You played in a super famous game against Fitzroy on that day. It was known as the Flood Game.
True.
True. Tell us a bit about that day, please.
The conditions on that day, the ground was absolutely flooded. It had rained for about a week. And, the ground was flooded and the drains were blocked on the outer wing. And actually the ball on that day floated. It actually floated on the ground. The water was, a foot deep.
Now, is it true that Ted Whitten was in charge of ground maintenance? I heard a story that maybe he blocked the drains to try and do that. Is there any truth in that?
I wouldn't guess, but Ted did. You bring back memories. Ted did work here on the ground management side of the ground.
Doug, your great teammate Jimmy Gallagher told me that Charlie Sutton actually won the toss that day, and he turned to the umpire and he said, "I think we'll kick with the tide." And I'd imagine there was a fair bit of skullduggery that day.
Charlie used to do all sorts of things. And
yeah, well, Teddy Whitten is on record for saying that Charlie was almost reported that day for attempted drowning, and that was against Fitzroy's Kevin Wright.
Yes, I vaguely recall that he did manage to get somebody under the water.
Now, that day was also famous for being a you almost held Fitzroy goalless for the entire game, which has never happened, or scoreless.
That's right.
Can you remember what happened towards the end of that game?
We just set our minds on winning the game, and played on. And as I say, the conditions were absolutely dreadful. And yes, we did keep the scoreless until the last quarter. And I think they only kicked a point.
It was a goal to Barron, the Baron. Do you remember Barron?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
A little known fact, Doug, you actually scored 1-1, so you outscored Fitzroy that day.
I did I really? Wonderful.
Awesome. Now, in the early days, you also were quite a strong mark. Is that true? You're a good marker.
Reasonable mark for my size.
Yes.
A reasonable mark. I wasn't terribly tall, about 5'8" or something like that.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, was it about this time that you met the love of your life? Did you meet her at a club function?
At a club function, yes. It was a sports night at in the city. Yes, I met Shirley at this particular function and asked her to accompany me to the club ball. And that was our first date. The club ball at the Arama Ballroom.
Ah.
Yeah.
And I understand you were dancing with her and she said, "What have I gotten myself into now? Because something rolled down the bottom of your trousers legs." Is this true?
Yes, it was. I had a crook knee and I had a knee bandage on and we're dancing and this thing came stuck down the leg of my trousers on the dance floor behind me. Yeah. She thought I was wearing long john nun pants.
Well, you obviously made a good impression because 70 years, wow.
I made an impression of one sort or another.
And is it right that your wife Shirley is also connected to Bulldog heritage as well, with her father?
That's exactly how we met. She was at this particular function with her father, who was vice president of the football club.
So it's Bulldog blood goes on both sides. So back to the 1953 season, we were bundled out of the finals that year by the Bombers in an elimination final. You were missing, along with Jack Collins, but you went to summer with retribution on your mind. And we forward now to the greatest year in Bulldog history, perhaps, 1954. What a year, Doug, what a year.
What a year.
Well, it's going to be my absolute honour and privilege to talk to you about 54, Doug. Look at the Premiership Cup. Before 2016, that was the sole one that sat in our trophy cabinet. And what an amazing era to be a part of, with the likes of Peter Box and Angus Abbey, Dave Brighton, Hollywood Collins, Wally Donald, the whole lot of them there. Roger Duffy. What an incredible side. We've spoken about Teddy Whitten and Charlie Sutton, but my God, the squad just went on and on with Herb Henderson and Jim Gallagher, Brian Gilmore. We'd love to hear your recollections about that team and some of the amazing things that went on.
It was a good season, and we had a very strong side. Everybody played well that year, and we were just a case of looking forward to the finals.
And what was the signature of the team? Was it fast ball movement? Was it
fast ball movement? Ted Whitten played very well. Collins at full forward. Sutton captain coach. Very, very strong side. Young side.
Yeah, and you also used the flick pass back in that day. Can you tell us a bit about that for some of the young viewers? What was the flick pass?
Well, flick pass is off the hand rather than the handball, get the ball moving pretty quick. That's from my memory of the flick pass.
So it would have suited you and your style out on the wing.
Oh, yeah. Get the ball moving quickly along the wing.
Right. So would you often be the receiver out on the outside and then just dash?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was talking to Jack Collins' son, John, and he said that his dad just loved being on the end of a lead because your passes were just rockets straight to him. Was that something you practiced?
Yes, certainly was. Jack and I were very good friends. Both lived locally in Yarraville, and Jack would quite often pick me up and take me to training and that sort of thing, and we were very close and trained together, and yeah, we did have a combination.
How was our defence that year? Because I was told our defence, the back line, was invincible.
Oh, absolutely.
Who was involved?
Wally Donald, Herbie Henderson, Dave Brighton, Jimmy Gallagher, Teddy Whitten. Good backline, all right.
Can't get it past them.
See, I know these off by heart.
What about our centre line? You were on the wing?
I played on the wing, yeah.
Yeah, who else was in the midfield with you?
Donnie Ross played in the centre,
yes.
And Don McCarthy on the other wing.
Yeah. So did you have a really good understanding? What was your partnership like with them?
Oh, good. Terrific. Got on well.
So we made it to the finals that year.
I had the finals.
So tell us what Footscray was like in September of 1954, because I wasn't old enough to be around, but my dad said, wow, the place came to life with red, white and blue.
It certainly did. The spirit of the club really came to life, and everybody sort of latched on, and just the atmosphere was tremendous, and people were so rapt. The whole town was on edge, It was wonderful.
Well, in 2016, the terraces were full. The grandstand was packed. Was that what it was like at training back in 54?
Yes.
So, Doug, we're talking about the finals now. The first final, we had a double chance, and we played against Geelong. Geelong finished on top of the ladder. Can you remember playing them in that first finals? Any memories?
Yes. We went out and played the game the way we should have played, I guess, and we sort of overran them, and I think we completely ran away. Every player seemed to play well that day. They were very, very confident we were. Absolutely confident. Yeah.
Well, the scores were level at three-quarter time in that Geelong match.
Yes.
So I don't think the supporters were that confident because we'd never experienced success. So
that's true.
Can you take us back to this ground on grand final week, and what are your memories of grand final day? Did you wake up early? Did you have a routine on that morning of match day?
Well, match day, Roger Duffy was living in Yarraville, boarding. He'd come down from Sydney. And Brian Gilmore, he lived in Yarraville too, just near the railway line. And we met at the railway station and on a Saturday morning and walked from there down to Williamstown Road, caught the bus to Footscray and caught our team bus at the restaurant in Leeds Street. Had lunch there and then drove to the free ground. Changed and that was it. It was on for young and old.
So arriving at the MCG, the grandstand had been bulldozed because it was preparing
Exactly right, for the Olympic Games.
Olympics, yeah. So was this a reduced capacity? How did the crowd come in?
No, it was reduced capacity, but the crowd kept coming in and jumped the fence and it sat on there inside the boundary line. So when I was playing on the wing and just running into the crowd was sitting inside the boundary line.
Did you end up in the crowd sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. The crowd was on the outer wing was just chock-a-block with people, sitting 4 deep inside the boundary line.
No way.
Yeah, and I've got that on film somewhere.
So here we are. We're playing against Melbourne.
Yep.
All right, they are a force. They've got a young Ron Barassi in the team, but we had the spirit. Take us inside the rooms. What did Charlie Sutton have to say? Can you remember any of his famous catch cries or anything about that speech?
Yeah, certainly. Oh, Charlie just having a chat to all the boys and said to them, well, look, fellas, leave the hard stuff to me and you just get on with the game. And that's what we tried to do. Charlie looked after us all. Charlie done all the physical stuff. You knew that you could go in hard and you're going to be looked after.
Yeah.
You knew Charlie was there to back us up.
Wow.
Charlie had us all revved up, there's no two ways about it. That was all we had in mind, get out there and do the job, and which we did, fortunately.
So what does shop early to avoid the rush mean?
Shop early to avoid the rush. Charlie's way of having a dash, get in there and get the ball moving, get out there and do the job.
And you were pretty close to best on ground that day in the grand final.
Had a few kicks, yes.
Well, you had 25.
Yeah.
And along with Kerr and Collins, were they the stars on the day?
Yeah.
The game was in our favour.
Terrific, yeah.
So can you remember an amazing passage of play late in the game? It involved you, and I understand that you picked up the ball on the half-back line and took off. Can you remember what happened?
Yes, I can. Roger Duffy was in goal. Bit of a scrimmage, the ball was on the ground. I picked up, had a bounce, handball to Roger, ran on, he handballed back, I had another bounce, and ran in and kicked the left foot goal in the last quarter, yeah. On the left foot, yeah.
What happened when the ball went through?
We thought it was over then. Kicked the goal with my old mate Roger.
Wow, the old 1-2.
Yeah, the old one too. Back again.
Beautiful. I think you only kicked about 17 goals for the Dogs, so that must have been your best ever, your most memorable.
Yeah, oh, well, yes, of course.
Hard as Elveston for Melbourne. Dummies onto his left and takes it down where Barassi flies but couldn't control the ball in the air. Taken away by Reynolds and away goes Doug. Steadies around here. A beautiful passage of play. Gets a handball to Ross. Ross gives it back to Reynolds. The bounce is true for him. Swings around, puts it onto his left boot. And a beautiful individual passage of play by Dougie Reynolds puts it through for another goal to Footscray. What a moment that would have been for him.
So the siren goes, Doug, and we've done it! Footscray are the premiers. What an amazing achievement. You've become a bull god. You've immortalised yourself for eternity. Take us back to the Kennel. I imagine that there was the party to end all parties.
Yeah, it was that particular evening. It was all mucked up. We were supposed to have dinner at a hotel in the city, and we got there and they'd forgotten to take the booking, and they managed to give us a few sandwiches and one thing and another. Then we come back to the ground and couldn't get in. Somebody mentioned, come up the ground after, bring your own glass, there'll be plenty of grog. You couldn't get near the joint. On the way back to the ground after the match, after this function in the city failed, and then we had the function at the Footscray Town Hall, and the microphones went flat. They weren't working. So the crowd couldn't hear the speeches or anything. It was a balls up. I was home in bed at my wife's place. She was home in bed by about 10 that night. The grand final night, yeah.
Well, you know what? We won the Premiership Cup, and that's all that matters, Doug.
That's all that matters.
Dougie, I would love to hear who your favourite and most admired players and teammates were of all time. Who are your best players that you played with?
Oh, heavens above.
Challenge, sorry.
That's a real hard question, that one. All the Footscray boys in 54. Teddy Whitten, Roger Duffy, Brian Gilmer, Donnie Ross, Jimmy Gager. They're all my favourites.
So what's the secret then to a successful team? Is it belief? Is it being courageous? What made the 54 team so unbelievable?
They're all good mates for start.
Yes.
And they all had respect for one another.
Tell me a little bit more about Ted and Charlie, what it was like to play alongside them. Do you remember any amazing things that they did on the field?
Oh no, they were both great players.
Were they tough? Were they?
Yes, both tough players. Charlie was tough. He'd be quick and look at you. Charlie, yeah. Ted used to have a go too. No, they're all a bunch of good players.
Wonderful, wonderful. What about your opponents? In the 1954 grand final, you played on a really tough Melbourne winger. What was he like?
Stuart Spencer.
Yeah, can you remember your battle with Stuart on that day?
Yes, pretty good. I thought that I won on that day.
Well, he was moved off you at three-quarter time. That usually means that you had the better of him.
Yeah, I thought I did have the better of him that particular day.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I think that we pretty much had the better right across the ground that particular day.
And you wore the number 28?
Yeah, 28.
Wow. After the game, did you change your Guernseys with the Melbourne players?
Yes.
Did you change your Guernsey with Stuart Spencer?
Stuart Spencer.
Right. So you've got his jumper, he's got yours. Tell us what it means to be a premiership player and have that incredible cup.
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. And people remember. They still remember the side, you know. Well, let's face it, we haven't won too many.
Well, it's an incredible legacy that you have.
It is so. It's wonderful feeling.
Oh, amazing. And in just the following year, 1955, in round 2, we unfurled the flag here against Richmond. And the Bulldog faithful finally got to see the premiership flag blowing in the wind here at Western Oval. You were playing in that match. Do you remember the feeling of seeing that and seeing the supporters so happy?
Yes, I have a photograph of that somewhere else. We're getting the presentation of the flag, and then they pulled it up on a flagpole on the ground. What a day.
But the season didn't go to plan, 1955. Charlie Sutton is on record for saying maybe we were a bit complacent that year because we missed out on finals. Is that how you see it?
Could well have been. Yeah, we probably thought too much about it. Thought it was just going to be a repeat, but it certainly wasn't.
And we lost a lot of players, right, after the 54 season.
Yeah, a lot of players started to head back home. See, in 54, we had quite a few players from interstate. You know, Roger Duffy was from Sydney and Donnie Ross was from Albury. And a lot of those players went back home.
But in 1956, the Olympics year, we bounced back. We made the finals that year in 1956. Well, we made it to the prelim in front of 94,000 people. You got married that year, but we were overrun. I think Harvey Stevens' jaw was broken, but you and Teddy Whitten were stars. So, you know, what an amazing legacy that would have been as well. 1957, Teddy Whitten replaced Charlie Sutton.
As coach, yes.
Yeah. How was that changing of the guard and the new era?
Yes, it was with some bad luck in the club at the time. There was a few instances, a few things happened, and I don't wish to tell you what it's all about. But
Sure.
Poor old Charlie got the flick.
Charlie got the flick and Ted stepped up to the mantle.
Ted stepped up to the mantle, yes.
Across your career, were there any opponents that stand out as being really amazing opponents and great battles that you had? Were there any players that you can remember?
You know, I remember Barassi, although I played on the wing, he was an on-baller, but we came into contact quite a few times
Right.
on the wing. He was a tough player on. No, I felt that most players, opponents were top-notch. You know, they're all league players. They were hard to beat.
I love it. So 1958 comes around, Doug, and you played in round one. That was the year that Johnny Schultz started. But then your time at the Kennel ended suddenly. How did your time at Footscray finish?
Ted was coached that particular year.
Yes.
And then Ted got rid of a few players. I was going to get the flick, and I went to Richmond. Richmond come out and signed me up, and the club cleared me to Richmond.
Wow.
That all happened in about a week, you know.
That must have been very sad.
It was very sad. I went and played. I had 2 seasons at Richmond.
Yeah, and you won the best and fairest in the reserves must have been 1959 maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you remember coming back here to play against Footscray? That must have been...
Yeah, that was a blow, you know, because Hart was still there.
Hart was still here. Well, George Bissett told me, because he went to Collingwood late in his career, and when he came back to the club, it was just, you know, so hard to come out and play against the red, white and blue, because they're your blood.
Yeah, it certainly was, no doubt about it. Yeah, the old red, white and blue.
So when your career finished at VFL level, you went out to the country, you played at Sorrento, is that right?
Played at Sorrento, yeah.
Wow, what was that experience like?
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. It was, my wife's people had a home down at Sorrento, a holiday home at Sorrento, and we knew quite a few of the local boys, and they said, well, if you've given it away at Footscray, come down at Richmond, come down and play down there. So I said, okay. Just turned up down there and played down there. Played 2 seasons down there. It was good.
And you won another best and fairest as well.
Yeah.
It can't keep you out of the action, Doug.
Yeah, I was disappointed that I left Footscray.
Yep.
I thought I was still capable, but not to be.
Not to be, but you couldn't keep away from the club, could you? Because after your playing career, you returned and you've had, you know, such involvement with the club in your post-playing days. What can you tell us what the club means to you, Doug, today?
Oh, the club means everything today. Means everything to me. Yeah, I've still got a huge devotion for Footscray. I'd love to see him win.
Did you go to the 2016 grand final?
Yes, certainly did. It was amazing.
Well, Doug, are there any final messages that you have for Bulldog supporters, and how would you like to be remembered by the Bulldog faithful?
Oh, as a premiership player, as a strong supporter of the club, and please get out and barrack for the boys and give them all your support, and thanks all the same.
Well, Doug, on behalf of every single Bulldog supporter, thank you so much for your incredible achievements and taking us through your journey today. What a ride it's been. And your wife, Shirley, of 70 years, has ridden every single bump with you. Your children, Tracy, Louise and Scotty, would be incredibly proud of everything you've done, as we all are. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Dougie Reynolds! It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Red in my heart, white in my veins, blue in my eye, red, white, and blue in my brain. I'm